What is this?
Dear Mr. Henry, please come to the Constitutional Convention in May. We will be attempting to fix the state of this union, and your help would be appreciated. Please RSVP at Poor Richard's Almanac Incorporated.
Dear Mr. Franklin, I thank you for this invitation, but I'm going to have to say that because I smell red in Philadelphia, I will soon have to decline this invitation. Thank you very much. Well, back to my Xbox.
From Patrick. It appears he will not be joining us today. I trust that you had a good reason for not coming to the convention.
Right. So, in overall attendance we have, from Connecticut, William Samuel Johnson, Roger Sherman, Oliver Ellsworth, Delaware, George Reed, Gunning Bedford Jr., John Dickinson, Richard Bassett, Jacob Broom.
Georgia, William Few, Abraham Baldwin, William Houston, William Pierce, Maryland, James McHenry, Daniel of St. Thomas Jennifer, Daniel Carroll, Lewis Martin, and John Mercer.
Massachusetts, Nathaniel Gorham, Rufus King, Elbridge Gerry, Caleb Strong, New Hampshire, John Langdon, Nicholas Gilman.
New Jersey, William Livingston, David Brearley, William Patterson, Jonathan Dayton, William Houston. New York, John Lansing Jr., Robert Yates, and myself.
North Carolina, William Blount, Richard Spite, Hugh Williamson, William Davy, Alexander Martin, Pennsylvania. Ben, Thomas Mifflin, Robert Morris, George Kleiner, Thomas Fitzsimmons, Jared Ingersoll, James Wilson, Governor Morris.
South Carolina, John Rutledge, Charles Cotsworth Pinkley, Charles Preers Butler. Virginia, John Blair, James Madison, George Washington, James Mason, James McClurg, Edmund Randolph, and myself. Rhode Island did not send any delegates.
55 total, no Rhode Islanders. This is already shaping up to be a united nation. Attention delegates! Hey, sit down. We are assembled here today in Philadelphia on Friday, May 25th, 1787, to begin discussion concerning modification of the Articles. George Washington has been elected as President and William Jackson as Secretary. The Rules Committee, consisting of Hamilton, Pinckney, and Wythe, have decided upon the rules of this convention, because it's not in the name or anything. Most importantly, our work and opinions here are to be kept secret. No revealing to the public what is spoken in this very room. If there are no comments, anyone, then we shall begin.
Well, I would like to propose first plan of this convention. I call it the Virginia Plan.
Such an original name.
Hey, did I ask you? No, I didn't. Well, here's what it is. I propose a plan in which the power is supplied to the federal government. Wasn't thinking that. Which bicameral legislative, executive, and the judicial branch. But in the legislature, each state receives a number of votes proportionate to each state population.
Wait, what about small states? Do we have no say in government?
You know what? That's what you get for being a small state.
Well, it appears... So, 6 states are for a government consisting of a bicameral legislature, an executive, and a judicial branch. After debate, we have agreed to select executives via legislature for 7-year terms. Personally, I think the executive should receive no salary, but whatever. And 11 states are for the proposal by Dickinson and Sherman that the state legislatures are to elect members of the House of Representatives.
Excuse me, Mr. Franklin, but Ellsworth and I have another proposal to make.
By all means, go ahead.
Well, why don't we have equal state representation in the Senate? And on the issue of slave representation, why don't we have the slave population count for votes?
So now slaves count as people too? Funny, that never seemed to happen before.
Well, let us have a vote. Should Senate hold equal state votes? It is a 6-5 disagreement. How about representative voting in the second legislative branch, incorporating slaves as 3/5 of a person? A 6-5 agreement for representative voting in the second branch, along with the 3/5 clause.
Mr. Franklin, I have a plan of my own to propose.
Oh boy, here come the small states.
I propose the New Jersey plan, preserving the unicameral legislature and equal state voting. But Congress also gets the powers to tax and regulate trade.
State vote, please. Well, Mr. Patterson, it was a nice idea, but 7 states disagree. Sorry, maybe next time, if there is one.
Darn it, I thought I had it.
Now, next order of business, state suffrage in the Senate. It is time to vote on the Jerry Committee report that has been approved over the last days in session. Which states are for proportional state voting in the House and equal representation in the Senate? It appears to be 5 states for, majority wins, equal representation in the Senate and proportionate voting in the House of Representatives. It is decided the Connecticut Compromise is passed 5-4 to 1.
Mr. Franklin, I have a question.
Yes, Mr. White?
If the states don't agree to this, won't none of it matter?
Quite right, but we must focus on the matters at hand. We will get to that at a later date. Now, the issue brought up as this convention continues is should equal representation in Congress be challenged?
Definitely, the representation shouldn't be equal.
What are you talking about? We need equal representation. Did you not listen to my New Jersey plan?
Alright, gentlemen, let's not challenge this compromise right now. We can worry about this later after some delegates have calmed down a little. Yesterday we discussed congressional powers in case of state incompetence. Let us now proceed to vote. I understand this has been thoroughly discussed. Vote reads 6-4, issue agreed on. On this day, there are 2 decisions that have been approved, these being election by legislature and a single executive. Many bills have also been defeated, essentially being about specifics of term and also executive election by the people. I think that on this hot summer day, this temperature has gotten the best of all of us, so let's try to calm down a bit. Wilson and Madison, just drop it about the Council of Revisions already. That's quite enough. Now on to judiciary and executive powers. It appears that the results are in for the executive and judiciary. With only 4 states for, the judiciary and executive will not be joined. In addition, executive veto is passed with 9 states in agreement.
Mr. Franklin, the convention is almost over, and by now you must be aware that we are still waiting for an outline of how the Constitution will be ratified.
All 13 states?
Simple majority!
Please, dear fellows, why don't we make it 9 out of 13?
I guess.
I don't know.
Let's make another committee!
Come on, is that really necessary?
I agree with him here.
A committee of detail! Yes, of course! A committee will solve everything! Let's see. Ellsworth, Gorham, Randolph, Rutledge, and Wilson.
Haven't we been spending the past 3 months going over details?
They can begin to meet 3 days from now. Yes, a cool-down period for the delegates after being in this hot building for so long. I knew a committee would solve this. A rough draft.
You're welcome.
Now, if all are in agreement, hold the telegraph!
This seems pretty anti-slavery to me.
Well, maybe it's supposed to be.
Hey, Southern boys, pack up. We're going home. Far as I'm concerned, this convention was a failure.
Hey! Fine then! You know what? Leave. But just remember, Britain isn't gonna go light on you whenever they destroy our weak government.
Randolph, Pierce, please be civilized. I'm sure we can work something out.
Darn it, Franklin. I'm done compromising. Let the good old boys leave. I'm willing to bet that in 80 years or so, they'll leave the Union anyway.
Okay, you know what? I have listened to you people whine and complain about, oh, I'm not getting represented fairly, and oh, I want slavery, but you don't. I am sick of it! From now on, any issues you have go directly to the Committee of 11. The Committee of Style and Arrangement shall finish off with the final revisions.
Why I tell you about committees?
You know what, Randolph? Zip it. Your Virginia plan was biased from the start.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yours was no better. We come here to develop a new plan because the articles weren't working, and you just rewrite the articles and give it a completely egotistical name. Committees, it's in your hands now.